ましょう。So, この本は安くて面白いです。わかりますか？
Good and interesting?
Yeah. Well, 安くて is what?
Oh,
安い。
I know this. Oh, cheap. Interesting.
Yeah. So this book is cheap and interesting. Good deal. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. 私の友達は面白くて楽しいです。
My friends are interesting and fun.
Yep. Okay. 父はとても面白くて楽しいです。
Same thing, except for
Same
the father.
thing with dad. Okay. 私は背が高くて静かです。
Tall and quiet.
Yes. Okay. 私の犬は what's missing? An extra E, right? The spelling is 小さくて.
Oh, right.
小さい. So, 小さくて古いです.
Short and old. I know what they're trying to say, but it sounds weird,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
It sounds like you're talking about a stuffed animal dog because furui is for things that are not alive.
Oh.
Yeah, we had that.
So what was for the things that were alive?
年を取っています which we haven't studied yet.
Oh,
So
right.
you can't call a person old yet. Furui doesn't even mean old age for a person.
Like antique?
It's like antique, or like it implies if you call a person furui, it implies that their thinking is what's old, like old-fashioned. And it's really insulting in Japanese.
Ah.
So you probably wouldn't say that about a dog. Unless, like I said, if you're talking, nuigurumi, which is, what they call a stuffed animal in Japanese, then, yeah, chisakute furui could be a small stuffed animal that's gray because it's been dragged around by a toddler until it's impossible to tell what color it used to be.
Wait a second.
But, so it could be that, but if you were talking about a living pet dog, what would you want to maybe say instead?
Not young?
Huh?
Kawaii desu.
Okay, so chisakute kawaii desu, that works.
What about its age?
Yeah.
Yeah, not young.
Age.
How do you learn the word for young?
You could say chisakute wakakunai desu, that works. Wakai is young. Chisakute toshi o totte imasu would be small and old, if you wanted to, if you've got a Pekingese that's 13 years old or something. Okay, so over here, Nihongo no kurasu wa, I think you meant nagakute, right?
Yes.
Nagakute omoshiroi desu.
So lively and interesting?
No, nagai is what?
Long. Oh, long.
Nagakute omoshiroi desu. So it's long and interesting. That works. Okay. Zaku-san wa wasure tokute.
Oh, did I forget the kute? Ah!
Wasure tokute genki desu. Okay. Forgetful and genki. That works. Wasure toi. It might take a small suit here. That would be something to research a little bit because honestly, wasurepoi and other terms like that are usually heard more in conversation than they are seen written out. But I believe it takes a small suit. Okay. いいですか? Let's do a quick kanji review before we move on. Okasa-san.
Mother.
Takai, tall or expensive. Kokose.
Kokose. High school student.
Kokose. Make sure you're not pronouncing it kokose. It's not Cocoa Puffs and it's not here. It's kokose. Okay, kokose.
Mainichi. Every day.
Hai.
Chichi. Father.
to
Meet.
meet. Yeah, kao is to buy, ao is to meet. Okay, and
Right,
this,
kaimono is shopping. So.
right, kaimono is shopping, and you could use this for example, tomodachi to ai ni ikimasu, going for the purpose of meeting with your friend.
Ah.
Yeah. Right.
Kodomo, child.
Right. Oops. Here.
Tokyo.
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 Tokyo, capital of Japan. Koko.
Okoko, high school.
Right.
Gakko, school.
School. Right.
Nihongo, Japanese.
Nihongo, right.
Kairu, to return.
Return, yes.
Kairu, to enter.
Hi.
Kyoko,
Kyoko,
person's name.
yes. Male or female?
Female.
That's right.
Chisai, small.
Right, and remember that this has a chi-e embedded in it. Chisai. Chisai.
Chisai. Oh.
I was trying not to look, but I got it.
Company,
Yeah,
yes.
but
it
you
is
remember the
company.
pronunciation. There.
Kaisha, kaisha. So
Kaisha.
if it helps, this kai is also, remember it's ao to meet,
Yeah.
right? This kai is also the kai in kaiwa. The wa in kaiwa means speech.
So meet
And
speech.
so it's the same, the wa in kaiwa is the same one that's in hanashimasu. And so meet and talk, kaiwa, conversation, dialogue,
Oh.
right? Meet and talk, kaiwa. Makes sense, right? The wa in kaiwa is also the same wa that's in denwa. The den in denwa is electricity, like denki and densha. So electricity and talk,
So it's
talking via electricity, telephone.
Denwa?
Denwa, yeah, isn't that
Which
cool?
makes sense.
I love when the kanji compounds make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Otosan.
Otosan, which is?
Father.
Father,
Not to be
right?
confused with Otosan.
Right, and
Yeah.
not to be confused with
Otosan,
otosan, which
which
is
is-
an entirely different kanji also.
Brother, right? Younger
Yeah,
brother?
little brother is ototo-san, hey. Someone else's little brother is ototo-san. Your own little brother is just ototo.
Right.
Okay. So my bookmark says that we should start with 180 page, part C. Is that where everybody else remembers us leaving off?
Not at all, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. じゃあ、忘れっぽい。
はい。
じゃあ、パート C。じゃあ、
Oh yeah, I remember. This is the part where we were wondering what the word for hometown was.
Right, we got sidetracked on figuring out hometown when you don't actually have to have a subject in the sentence, right? You could just say, and I think honestly they were probably just going for something like watashi no machi or uchi no machi wa, and then Sanren-san, why don't you tell us something?
Then my machi?
Right.
街はきれい
Okay. きれい
きれい
で、
でやす、優しい what was the word for lively?
にぎやか。
にぎやか。
はい。
あ、街はきれいでにぎやかです。
はい。きれいでにぎやかです。That works. ビジさん2番。
元気で。つまらないです。
Okay. 元気
おう、
It's
にぎやかで。
so it's lively and boring.
そうです。
So it's lively and boring.
Okay. That one might be be a candidate for the second structure they're demonstrating here, where you use desu ga instead, because you're making a contrast. It's lively, but,
I was gonna say
boring.
that first, because I was thinking kettle.
yeah, well, they're showing desu ga.
Is
Yeah.
it the same thing?
Yeah, they're equivalent meanings. Kedo is less formal.
Okay. I
Ah.
did not know that.
So nigiyaka desu ga tsumaranai desu. Okay, interesting combination.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
almost oxymoronic.
はい、ジョーさん、3番お願いします。
日本語のクラスは面白くて楽しいです。
はい、面白くて。Make sure you drop the E when you add the ku. 面白くて楽しいです。ですね。じゃあ4番、ザックさん。
Okay. 私のお父さんは、きれい is a not thing, right?
Yes.
So きれいで、優しいです。
Okay, you mean clean by that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because kirei, when you apply to people, usually implies beautiful. So it's a little
Oh.
bit strange applied to men, but we can.
Yes,
work
my
with
dad
it.
is beautiful.
はい、じゃあ5番、カシさん。は
日本人は忙しくて面白いです。
い、いいですね。じゃあ6番、アンバさん。
日本の国の人は I just put two random ones. 怖くて可愛いです。
Okay. And instead of,
So they're scary and cute.
I would say for Japanese people,
Scary cute.
is that Nihonjin? Yeah, for Japanese people. Or were you doing 6 or 5?
6.
Oh, 6. So, watashi no kuni no hito, or you could just say Amerikajin. Yeah, so アメリカ人は怖くて可愛いです。面白いですね。
I have a question though.
Hi.
Since we can add ly to stuff to make things adverbs, could you do something here to make it sound like scarily cute?
It doesn't really work that way in Japanese.
So there's no like adverb converter in Japanese?
Well, there is, but the te form is what you would use to connect them in this case. So
Yeah, it's more like
wakete-
listening though in this case rather than modifying though.
But that's the closest Japanese can get.
Uh,
The ku form is the adverb form. So
oh.
kawaii is scary, kawaku is scarily. So, but like kawaku ikimashita or something, went scarily. I can't think of a good example, that one's awkward. But,
Could you just use a separate sentence to say like the reason they're cute?
Yeah.
Because
What about ate energetically? Or ate healthily?
genki de tabemashita. You would still use te form most likely.
Okay.
じゃあ、Rimaさんから we're going to try this pair work activity. So Rima san gets to part A and Sanzo-san part B for the pair work question.
犬に犬がありますか？
はい。
どの犬、I'm sorry, my bad. どの犬ですか？
うん小さくて可愛いです。
そうです。
はい、いいですね。わかりますか? So obviously this was just an example, so you can be more freeform with your,
continuing conversation.
yeah, and with your answers, like, you know, you don't have to answer in the positive if you don't want to.
And what is donna again?
Donna is what kind, what type. So, donna inu desu ka is what kind of dog is it? okay? And they don't necessarily mean
Mean the
breed,
breed.
although breed could be part of the answer.
Okay.
But 小さくて可愛いです works as an
So you
answer
don't have
to
to say
donna.
golden retriever.
No, you could, but you don't have to. Yeah, and somebody who knows enough about dogs to know what that breed is gets an idea of what kind of animal it is from that name, but some Japanese people don't know that much about dogs, so they wouldn't
Right.
necessarily know what golden retriever was. And then you would have to say, 大きくてとっても元気です。でしょ ?OK、じゃあ、サンルンさんとビージさんと1番お願いします。
どこから来ましたか？
フロリダです。
どんな町？
In this case, you could say どんな国ですか even though kuni says country. In the case of a region, you can also use kuni. Like what kind of country is it? A little
What kind
bit
of
like
place?
the way we use, somebody's from the country as opposed to from the city. In Japanese, they don't use it for countryside, but they use kuni sometimes to mean region that you're from.
So it's kind of like what kind of state is it?
Yeah, what kind of area is it? So, yeah, because we haven't learned shu, which is state. So, どんな国ですか?
どんな国ですか？
静かで面白いです。
はい、いいです
そ
よ。
うですか。
いいですね。じゃあ、2番、ビージさんとジョーさんお願いします。
パソコンを持っていますか？
はい。
どんなパソコンですか？ That's a weird question.
Yeah.
Wait, what kind of computer is it?
Wait,
Well,
motte?
they're
Motte i?
持っていますか? Do you own one?
Ah,
Not that you're necessarily
Right.
holding it.
Tearing around.
I was about to say.
Yeah, so.
Is there no Japanese equivalent of have? Like I have one?
Arimasu. Well, arimasu implies that it
Exists.
exists. So, but in this case, パソコンがありますか could mean, do you have one, or it could mean just, is there one, like in the room. So, はい、
今持っています。
持っています. That's what they used. パソコンを持っていますか is, in this case, more like, do you own it, rather than are you carrying it?
That's how it's.
Like what we said
Like, do
earlier.
you have one
Yeah.
on you?
Yeah, if you wanted to know, do you have one with you, it would be like, 今、
Now.
コンピューターを持っていますか or 今、ノートブック持っていますか because I think that's what they use for laptop. Because you're probably not carrying a CPU around with you. So,
Yeah,
those
bigger
all.
便利で高いです。
Okay, 便利で高いです.
What
There
was
you
that first
go.
one?
便利. Convenient.
Ah,
便利で
oh, that's one of the new ones,
高い
isn't it?
です. So it's convenient and expensive. So, タブレットでしょ. So, yeah, so that works. So, どんなパソコンですか? 便利で高いですね. And if you wanted to list the third adjective, you guys know you can do that, right?
Yeah,
So,
just-
便利で、高くて新しいです for example. You know?
ooh. Do we know the adjective for shiny?
まだわかりませんね。はい、じゃあ、
好きな人がいますか？
Do you like people?
no, 好きな人, a person that you like. Is there someone that you like? As in someone
Oh,
special,
right.
someone you're dating.
Yeah. Hidoide. Wait, how did I say I'm alone? Like I'm not dating anyone. Just.
好きな人がいますか? いいえ、いません。
いません. Okay.
いません。
No, there isn't.
He's gonna ask you about it.
Yeah. question to be どんな人が好きですか?
What kind of people
What
do
kind
you
of
like?
person do you like? So you could then describe what kind of person you'd be looking for if you were looking for a dating relationship.
All right.
Uh,
So, 面白いくて,
面白くて,
what was that one? I'm trying to remember. It's good in the head. I remember the
頭が
頭が
いいです。
頭がいいです。
はい、
そうです。
はい、
はい。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ、and to change that to fit the context of what we just did, you could say, what was the first part? 面白い?
Yeah.
So, 面白くて頭がいい人が好きです。So I like a person who is interesting and smart.
頭 I can't say it. 頭
So you could say 頭が良くて
頭
面白い
頭が良くて
面白い
面白い
人
人
が好きです。
が好きです。
はい。So that works too. じゃあ4番、橋さんと。
はい。週末何をしましたか?
How would you say I looked after my aunt's dog?
ああ、おばさんの犬、
Can you just use watch? Eat it?
Like 見て
That just sounds like you stared at me. おばさんの犬を
take care of is a verb.
飼いました。Yeah.
買いました?
Believe it or not, 飼う with an entirely different kanji is, they're just homophones, but one of them means to raise an animal.
Oh.
By identifying it as your aunt's dog, it makes it clear enough, I think, that you don't normally take care of it all the time, but you were taking care of it on the weekend. So, おばさんの犬を飼いました。
I was about to say, so you didn't buy your aunt's
In
dog.
spoken Japanese, right? You just have to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
because
It's not unreasonable.
buying your aunt's dog actually is reasonable.
is possible, yeah, but, or you could say, おばさんの犬を飼っていました. If you use the ています form, then it kind of implies that the activity just lasted for the duration of the weekend that we asked about.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So that 飼っていました might be a better way to express it, to clarify that you didn't buy it, you were just taking care of it for the weekend. Okay. いいですか? Okay, so おばさんの犬を飼っていました and then the
Oh,
next
I still
question.
have another one to say. どうでした?
どうでしたか?
どうでしたか?
I'm trying to think of how to word that she asked me to.
Well, the question is, how was it?
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, どうでしたか? Not どうして, but just どうでしたか?
Okay. いいです.
Okay, so よかったです. Past tense, right?
Okay.
よかったです. Can you find a way to use two adjectives in conjunction, since that's the exercise?
Okay. Fine, all these visions. There we go. Okay. Tsumaranakute yokatta desu.
Okay, so it was boring, but it was okay. Alright, いいですね. And then you finish with,
そうですか?
そうですか? じゃあ4番、どうぞ. Oh, sorry, that was 4番。5番。私さんとアンバーさん。
休みにどこに旅行しましたか? 海です.
Okay. 海です。
What?
海です。or 海に行きました。To, if you want it to be
So where did you go?
Yeah, はい。休みにどこに旅行しましたか? Where did you go for vacation during the break?
Ah, right.
So where did you travel to during the break? So 海に行きましたね。
どの町でしたか? 暑くても面白いでした。
面白かったです。はい、面白かったです。So 暑くて面白かったです。はい、質問がありますか? Let her finish first real quick. Okay, so 暑くて面白かったです。And then finishes with
そうです。
はい、
そうですか。
そうですか。はい。
Wait,
Yeah.
so, oh,
He
he asked
had a
first.
質問
How
first.
come Yasumi doesn't take, it just takes ni and not like, Yasumi kara, like from the break? How come the ni just,
It's more like during the break.
so during doesn't use like mara, kara, or anything?
No.
Just ni? Or
Just
during?
に休みにどこに旅行しましたか?
A lot easier than I figured it would be.
Okay, okay.
So with-
Zach
yeah.
doesn't have a question.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Me?
Okay, you were done, so,
I'm up?
yeah, you're up.
All right. Yeah, so my question was with the sukina hito, that's
Right.
like a special someone you like. How would you say you like people? Like, do you like people? How would you say that?
Just
instead?
人が好きです.
So the na is basically the connector that makes it.
Your 好きな人 is, 好きな is
Oh,
modifying
oh,
人,
right.
so it's the person that you like,
Oh,
as
right.
opposed to the other structure, which is just saying I like people in general.
Okay.
好きな人 makes it more specific, the person or people that you like.
I see.
はい.
So if you were to say that I went to the ocean to swim, I would say 海で海に行きました。
泳ぎに行きました.
泳ぎに行きました。
Yeah. So,
So-
yeah, that's actually getting into the next structure
Okay.
that we're about to talk about, so.
Yay.
Yeah.
Another question, how would you say, like, I went to the beach to take pictures of something?
Okay, let's do that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, excellent question.
Is it in the workbook where you bring this? Is it in the workbook? 'Cause I would ask.
There was something that made me think of it. It was,
Yeah.
how do you take a picture of a flower?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
was
went
confusing.
to the beach
Mhm.
to take, photos of
Dolphins.
dolphins, okay.
Dolphin.
Okay.
Dolphin. Is
There's
there?
a word for dolphin,
Food.
That's bad.
What?
I want to say iruka.
Iruka?
Iruka is either dolphin or whale, or maybe it's just
It's one of
cetacean
the
in
two.
general.
Wait. Iruka?
Iruka. Iruka. Okay, so iruka no shashin. Oh. And then to the beach would be, I would put umi ni over here actually. Let's see, umi is this this kanji, which I don't know if you've had it yet, but if you know haha and you know mainichi, it's not that far of a stretch to learn umi.
So it's
You
like.
know haha, you know mainichi, you add the 3-dot radical for water, and you've got umi.
So is it sort of like the whole Mother Nature connotation that got the?
I think it's more of a homophone thing in Chinese.
Oh, I see.
Okay, umi ni iruka no shashin o tori ni ikimashita. Wakarimasu ka? So I went to the beach to take photos of dolphins. So the photos of dolphins part, iruka no shashin. Okay? The to the beach part, umi ni. And then shashin o toru, take pictures, right? Tori ni ikimashita, for went for the purpose of taking.
Okay.
So, and like we've seen in other circumstances, the umi ni part is a unit.
So wait, the ni
And-
ikimashita is going for the purpose of something?
Yes. So
Alright,
I'll talk
we
about
write
that
that
again in a second. The iruka no shashin o is a unit, and tori ni ikimashita is a unit. But these two units could swap places. So you could say iruka no shashin o umi ni tori ni ikimashita. I think it's less confusing in this structure because you're so used to having the direct object with its o marker directly next to the verb that applies. So I think this structure is a less confusing structure to deal with in Japanese. But those two units could swap places, technically speaking. Make sense?
So on a more basic level, if you were to just say, I took pictures of a flower, you would say, hana no shashin,
Yes,
Or
hana no
toteimasu.
shashin o torimashita.
or inteimasu,
Or,
toteimasu.
yeah, if you're doing it right now,
Doing
hana
it.
no shashin o totteimasu. So, you know, somebody sees you with your camera out, wondering what you're doing, nani o shiteimasu ka? Hana no shashin o totteimasu. I'm taking photos of flowers. Hai.
A question with ima and
Hi.
teiru, because
Hi.
it's kind of implied, right? I
Yes.
thought so, but when I was native speaker, she said that it would make more sense. Because I said benkyou shiteiru, and she said
Okay, there's a
ima.
reason.
Okay,
Benkyou shiteiru.
have we got into
Ima,
that point
benkyou
yet?
I didn't understand why the ima
Oh,
needed
why
to be.
ima?
Why
Okay,
ima?
because benkyou shiteiru has two possible meanings.
Have we gone into teiru before?
Yes,
That's what
teiru, this whole chapter is
Oh,
about
oh,
teiru,
right.
So, okay, let's examine benkyou shiteimasu. So, let's say you're specifically talking about Nihongo o benkyou shiteimasu.
Nice.
There are two different interpretations of this, even in English. Think about it. I'm studying Japanese. Could mean that's what I'm doing right now. I've got my books open and I'm writing in my notebook.
Or you're
Or it
taking a
could
class?
mean I'm taking a class. I'm currently working on learning Japanese as a long-term project. I might not be studying it in this moment. I might be doing my math at the moment, or I might be eating my lunch at the moment, or talking to my friend on the phone. But learning Japanese is something that I started months ago. It's an ongoing process for me. I expect it to still take a few years yet, right? You see what I'm saying?
It's all
So-
in context.
The Nihongo o benkyou shiteimasu could just imply that this is part of my current life, that I'm working on learning Japanese over the course of many, many months. If you say ima Nihongo o benkyou shiteimasu, that makes it more specifically what I'm doing right in this moment.
Okay.
So that's a way of clarifying which of the two possible meanings you intend. Context, of course, is the other piece, because if your friend asks you, ima, nani o shiteru no?
What are you doing right now?
Benkyou shiteiru.
Nihongo o benkyou shiteru.
Yeah.
I'm working on my Japanese. Versus, saikin, recently,
Mhm.
nani o shitemasu ka? Nihongo o benkyou shiteimasu.
Doesn't necessarily
Then
imply-
you're answering saikin, recently. I've been
Saikin?
learning Japanese. Saikin. Saikin. Saikin.
Alright.
So
recently.
as long as the verb can be taken both ways, you need it. But if it's like toyoideimasu, you're not
Yeah.
perpetually swimming, so you don't have to say
Right,
ima.
but even with
I'm
something like
learning how to swim.
oyoidemasu, if you're, say, on the swim team now,
Oh, man.
then both meanings are still possible, right? So, somebody could ask you, what have you been doing with yourself lately? And you haven't talked to them since the last time you joined swim team. Maybe you just joined swim team this past year and you haven't talked to them for 3 years.
It's like I've been swimming.
最近泳いでいます. So it's possible for it to be the other meaning. Obviously, 海で泳いでいます. I'm swimming in the ocean. That kind of assumes right now.
Yeah.
It's not likely that, just because you join a swim team, that means you swim in the ocean daily, but maybe you do. Some people might.
I just know that their phone's
サーフィンを
waterproof.
しています。
So is it just safer to stick ima every time you use it?
You don't have to stick it in every time, but if there's some ambiguity there, then ima helps with that ambiguity. If you're saying, sushi o tabeteimasu, chances are you don't mean that that's something you've taken up as a hobby. Expensive hobby.
I'm a sushi connoisseur.
But, so it's likely that if you're sitting there with chopsticks in your hand and your mouth full, and somebody asks you, "Nani o shiteimasu ka? Sushi o tabeteimasu," probably means right now.
And I had thought it was implied because we were talking about a test, and
Yeah.
she said you'll do fine.
Yeah,
そうだと思うけど勉強している.
yeah.
So I figured it meant, yeah, I think I will too, but I'm studying right now anyway.
Right,
But the ima is still there because,
because it just clarifies it.
okay.
So,
It was just weird for me to wrap my head around. This was a while ago, I just remembered
Yeah.
asking.
Okay, so, yeah, so if whatever you're taking photos of, the main original question was, for example, if you're taking pictures of flowers, hana, for flowers is this one, hana no shashin. Is pictures of flowers. So hana no shashin o toru, right? To take pictures of flowers. Hana no shashin o totte imasu. Jinja no shashin o totte imasu. Jinja is, no, jinja is Shinto shrines. Or otera no shashin o totte imasu. I'm taking pictures of temples.
Like
Or
jinja?
jinja.
Sounds like a katakana version of ginger.
That would be jinja.
Oh, it's more elongated.
Yeah, but jinja, the kanji is literally God place. And it means a Shinto shrine. Yeah, so jinja to otera no shashin o totte imasu would be like I'm taking a lot of photos of shrines and temples. That was one of my hobbies when I lived in Asia. I went to lots of shrines and temples and took loads of photos. Yeah, so got even easier once I went digital.
Yeah.
So anyway, so does that answer those questions?
Yes.
So moving on to kabuki o mini ikimasu. So the basic structure is stem plus ni ikimasu to say that you went somewhere or you will go somewhere, if you want to use ikimasu, for the purpose of doing something, okay? So the verb that you went for the purpose of doing is going to be in what they call stem form. Now, does everybody get how to make stem form?
Drop the ending and then.
Yes, just take the mas form, not just any form, but it has to be the
Yeah.
mas form, and drop the mas, okay? So it's pretty easy. So if it's, for example, I should write that in kanji, but if it's tabemasu, drop the mas, and you've got tabe, like that, right? If it's, so tabe ni ikimasu, go for the purpose of eating. So for example, restaurant ni tabe ni ikimasu, go to the restaurant for the purpose of eating. You're not going there just to chit chat with your friends, you're going to actually eat something, right? Or ba ni nomi ni ikimasu. You've got a real purpose in mind. You're going to that bar to drink.
If you use a day there, does it mean you're going out like, if restaurant day? I'm going to the restaurant to eat in the restaurant.
No, because of the traveling nature of the ending, you would use ni.
Okay.
Restaurant ni tabe ni ikimasu. You're going to the restaurant to eat. It implies that you're going to eat in the restaurant, yes.
Okay.
But you use ni because the final verb is ikimasu. So, restaurant ni ikimasu, restaurant ni tabe ni ikimasu. Okay, so adding this doesn't change the fact that this is still your main verb. Okay, and since this is your main verb, the object takes ni or e like it would if you were using ikimasu plain.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
So, for example,
If you're going somewhere to meet friends.
yeah,
do
so,
something neat.
yeah. The other thing that can happen though is you can have two objects in a sentence like this. Think about eigakan, movie theater. Okay. Eigakan ni eiga o ni ikimasu. So in this case, you've kind of got objects for both of these verbs. You see that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Eigakan ni eiga o mini ikimasu. To go
Oh.
to a movie theater for the purpose of seeing a movie. See how that works? So that structure applies to other things too. So for example, let's say, kissaten ni tomodachi o ai ni ikimasu. To go to the kissaten in order to meet a friend. That's a very common practice in Japan because most homes are so small and cramped and lacking in privacy that people generally meet their friends out in places like kissaten rather than inviting them over to their house. You know, if you want to hang out with your best friend and not have your kid sister interfering or your mom and dad peeking in on you every 3 seconds, you know, the only way you're going to get that kind of privacy is to go someplace else.
It's kind of
You
ironic.
know, if your
You
whole
feel-
house fits inside this classroom, then you're not going to have a private place to hang out and study or talk to your friend.
So it's kind of ironic how you go out in public to get some privacy.
Yeah, because the strangers around you in the McDonald's do not care what it is you're talking about. So, yeah, places like kissaten and even McDonald's and, you know, any kind of public eatery are common meeting spots for friends who want to just hang out together. And a lot of kissaten cater to that. They'll have relatively comfy chairs and they don't necessarily expect you to vacate the premises as soon as you're done eating. But, you know, people will like order the occasional drink or snack, something, so that, you know, they've got an excuse to stay there longer. But yeah, they don't try to kick you out so quick usually. So, kissaten ni tomodachi o ai ni ikimasu. Or, you know, umi ni oyogi ni ikimasu. Go to the beach for the sake of swimming, you know. There are all kinds of constructions that you can do with this, right? All kinds of activities that you can say, not just that you're going to do the action, but that you're going someplace for the purpose of doing that action. Make Make sense?
Yes.
Very useful structure.
It's really just a little bit of grammar, like triple systems, you know how to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The words you
Yeah,
already-
think about like 図書館に日本語を勉強しに行きます.
Yeah.
Right? You can do that now.
Yeah.
Whereas before you had to chop that up into separate sentences, right?
Going to the library.
Yeah, 図書館に行きます. 図書館で日本語を勉強します. Right? Now you confuse it. 図書館に日本語を勉強しに行きます. いいですね.
You go from a first grader to like a sixth grader.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Yay.
He can
Feels
speak
good,
like
huh?
middle schoolers
Get
now.
a big box of crayons.
Yay.
Pre-sharpened pencils and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that, crayons.
So let's do these examples from the textbook. See how far we can get through some of these. Okay. じゃあドリーマーさん、エグザンプルを読んでください。
京都に歌舞伎を見にいますか？
Okay. スーさんは京都に歌舞伎を見に行きます。ね
I don't know what I just did. Just ignore me. I
Okay.
don't know what I was doing. I went one way and.
Okay,
You were
so-
conjugating it, except that we're just saying that Sue's
No,
doing
Zach, it's
things.
because we sit too close together.
Ah, I see.
So
Totally
スー
makes
さん
sense.
は
Susan は京都に歌舞伎を見に行きますか？行きます。
はい。わかりますか？So 京都に歌舞伎を見に行きます。So she's
So-
going
so
to
in the
Kyoto for the purpose of seeing 歌舞伎。
So the ni and the ikimasu just slur together, just like,
見に行きます。Yeah.
見に行きます。
見に行きます。Yeah. It's all there if you really break it down, but a lot of times people do slur
so it's
stuff
just
together.
like this, or
Yeah.
anything with a, like a deshita.
Yeah. Okay. じゃあ、サンドンさん1番お願いします。
スーさんは図書館に本を借りに行きます。
はい。じゃあ、リーズさん2番。
食堂に昼ご飯を食べに行きます。
はい。食堂に。
食堂。
Shokudo.
食堂。dining hall.
Ah, right.
If you look at the kanji, notice
There's
the
the
shoku
tabe.
is the taberu. So it's, and the do literally means like a hall, like a big building,
So
a
like
big room. So shokudo is literally cafeteria, dining hall,
I see.
okay? Meal place. Okay? So 食堂に昼ご飯を食べに来ます。はい、じゃあ、ジョーさん3番。
郵便局は
郵便局
に
に、
切手を買いに行きます。
はい、切手を買いに行きます。ね。じゃあ、4番、ザックさん。
Susan wa koen ni shashin o to toni tori ni ikimasu.
はい、取りに行きます。はい。じゃあ
Taking pictures at the bank?
いいえ、公園。
Park.
な銀行。
Oh, park.
公園。Park.
I got those two mixed up. I was like, why are you taking
Yeah.
pictures at a bank?
Yeah. 公園に
We have some
写
questions
真
to
を
ask
撮り
you.
に行きます。So yeah, maybe 公園で花の写真を撮りますね。So 公園に花の写真を撮りに行きます。Could be, right? That was the question that came up earlier. Yes. じゃあ、キャシーさん、5番お願いします。
スーさんは友達のうちに勉強しに行きます。
はい、いいですね。
Study at a friend's house.
はい。And there again, you could add in 友達のうちに日本語を勉強しに行きます。If you wanted to, right? Maybe she's going over there to study Japanese. She's Korean, so Maybe she's got to study too. So, Amba-san, 6番。
スーさんは街に遊びに行きます。
はい。
She's gonna have some fun in town.
That's right. はい。じゃあ、7番、リマさん。
スーザンはデパートに靴を買いに行きます。
はい。Notice that it is Susan, not Susan.
Did I say Susan?
It sounded like you were saying Susan. Susan. So, デパートに靴を買いに行きます。はい。じゃあ、8番、三分さん。
スーさんは高校に英語を、教えに行きます。
いや、教える、教えます、教えに行きます。
So she's teaching English to high school?
Yeah, she's going to the high school to teach English. いいですね。Apparently she's already bilingual or trilingual.
Yeah.
はい、じゃあ、ザックさん、ビーズィさん、9番。
喫茶店に友達とコーヒーを飲みに行きます。
飲みに、
飲みに行きます。
はい、コーヒーを飲みに行きます。そうですね。喫茶店に友達とコーヒーを飲みに行きます。She's going to be added in the 友達と。But that works to say she's
Yeah.
going to the coffee shop to drink coffee with friends, as opposed to going by herself. Right?
So going alone would just be hitohide?
Yeah. 一人で喫茶店にコーヒーを飲みに行きます。That works too.
Alright.
She's going to the coffee shop to drink coffee all by herself.
I felt too sad.
Okay. いいですね。じゃあ、パート B, you guys can choose for yourself what you want to fill in the blank with. どうぞ、ジョーさん、1番。
コンビニに飲み物を買いに行きます。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ、2番、ザックさん。
Alright. Tokyo ni, what's a good one? I've already used the eat hat joke already, so. Yeah.
How about just going to have fun?
So, asobi ni ikimashita?
はい、そうですね。東京に遊びに来ました。はい。
Although now I'm thinking, how would you say I'm going there to eat the city like you're Godzilla or something?
Let's let other people practice first and
Right,
you can
right.
think about that some more. じゃあ、カシーさん、3番お願いします。
図書館に本を読みに行きます。
はい、いいですね。4番、アンバーさん。
家に映
映画、
を映画を見に行きます。
見に、and they use 帰ります。見に帰ります。Because it's your own house, right? So you're actually going to go, you're talking about returning home in order to watch that movie, right? 家に映画を見に帰ります。or DVD を見に帰ります。
So is EA really interchangeable with Uchi? 'Cause
In the case of your own house?
They use EA, not Uchi.
Yeah.
And they use Kai.
Yeah, they're mostly interchangeable. There are a few instances where one sounds better than the other, but we'll talk about those as they come
Yeah,
up.
yeah, okay.
Okay? じゃあ、5番、ドリーマンさん。
大学に日本語を話しに来ました。
はい、いいですね。わかりますか？はい。はい、じゃあ次、見ましょ
Wait, kimashita
う。
is...
来ました、because came.
Ah.
So she,
Oh,
we're
right.
at school now,
Oh,
right? We're at the college now, so 大学に日本語を話しに来ました。She came here
Ah.
for the purpose of
Right, right.
speaking Japanese. Makes sense. Right. じゃあ、So let's look at these next ones. サンルンさんとビーズィさん、エグザンプルを読んでください。
トムさんは 友達のうちに何をしに行きますか？
遊びに行きます。
はい。いいですね。わかりますか？じゃあ、1番、ピージさんとゾウさん、お願いします。
How do I phrase the question? Am I?
So, ケンさんは図書館に、
Okay, 図書館に
no, it's 何を
Oh, now I'm asking.
Yeah, you're asking what Ken's doing when he goes to the library.
図書館に何をしに行きますか?
しに行きますか? What's he going to the library to do?
Okay.
Right? So, Ken さんは図書館に何をしに行きますか?
本を借りに行きます。
借りに行きます。はい、本を借りに行きます。いいですね。わかりますか？じゃあ、2番どうぞ。
坊さんは喫茶店に何をしに行きますか？
読みに行きます。
Is that what it's
No, 飲みに行きます。
はい、何を飲みますか？
コーヒ
はい、そう、コーヒー
ー
を
を
飲
飲
み
み
に
に
行き
行き
ま。
ますす。
はい、
I keep getting reading and drinking mixed up for some reason.
コーヒーを飲みに行きます。はい。
Although also with the nani oshini, isn't that a homophone for it to die? Like what is he going to die?
In the context, it doesn't sound the same because shinimasu and shiniikimasu are not the same.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
じゃあ3番お願いします。
Alright, 3番。Maria-san は、デパートに何をしにますしに行きます
か。
か
はい。川崎さん。
お土産を買いに行きます。
はい、お土産を買いに行きます。いいですね。じゃあ4番どうぞ。
マリさんは、What did I say? うちに、
いや、うちに。
うちに何をしに帰りました。帰りますか。
はい。
家に食べに帰ります。
はい、食べに帰ります。いいですね。And if you wanted to identify the time of day, you could say, for example, 晩ご飯を食べに帰ります。Or 昼ご飯を食べに帰ります。They didn't specify it, so you don't have to. But it kind of looks like
Yeah, that's
something other than breakfast.
So that's a serious breakfast.
Yeah, although actually it's pretty common in Japan for miso shiro and gohan and sakana. That's a traditional Japanese breakfast.
That's awesome.
Nice.
For breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, じゃあ5番。
よこさんは、お寺に、
はい、お寺に、yes。
お寺に何をしに行きますか。
はい
行きますか。
はい、いいですね。わかりますか？
Thinking.
Okay. Okay, so she's going to the temple to take photos, right?
Right.
So do you remember how to say that?
写真を撮りに行きました。
はい、写真を撮りに行きます。That's all us. Yeah. So 陽子さんはお寺に何をしに行きますか？ 写真を撮りに行きます. And
Um,
just a quick culture note, Yoko, the girl's name, is spelled in hiragana, Yoko.
oh, so there's an extra.
Yoko. It doesn't convey it in the English. When they write it in Romaji, they usually don't put that extra
O or
O or U in there. But that's how it should be pronounced, because otherwise it sounds like her
Yoko.
name means side. Yoko is side.
She's like a sidekick or something.
Yeah, but it's Yoko.
Just a quick question though. With the Jinja thing, is
Hi.
that exclusively for Shinto shrines?
Generally, yes, Shinto shrines are usually called Jinja and Otera are Buddhist.
Ah,
And that's a fairly clear distinction most of the time, except for the fact that in traditional Japanese religion, before it was totally politicized in the pre-World War II era, there used to be a lot of temple shrine combos that were a sort of fusion religion that included both Shinto and Buddhist traditions, all sort of conglomerated together, and it was very hard to differentiate. And I don't remember, I think there's an actual term for those kinds of temples that is a little bit different, but I don't remember offhand what they're called. But those are rare now because in the very politicized Showa period, they tried to separate them out because Otera were foreign, because Buddhism came from outside of Japan, and Shinto, because it was the national religion, it's the native religion of Japan, became very highly politicized and associated with the political aims of Japan and the,
so it's like the whole
politically it was-
nationalism thing.
yeah, the nationalists kind of took Shinto and turned it into another prop for their nationalist agenda, which is a shame because it's a beautiful religion all on its own. It didn't need that political junk added in. But, so there are still some national jinja in the country that have a very political agenda, like Meiji Jingu, for example, is a major political shrine to the Meiji Emperor. And some Japanese people who are very non-political don't like it because it's such a politicized place. And there are similar shrines to the Showa and Taisho emperors. And people who are not happy with what Japan did during World War II in particular don't like the Showa shrine because of that association with Emperor Hirohito and
Right.
everything that was done in his name as part of World War II. A lot of it wasn't necessarily his choice. The emperors are mostly figureheads in Japan, and it was more his advisors.
So when did that transition over to emperors being figureheads actually happen?
A long
The
time ago.
beginning of religion.
Yeah, yeah, well,
No, I mean, it's just that with
Well,
England, the monarchy is now just really
yeah, it's
more
now a
figurehead,
constitutional
right?
monarchy, but no, the figurehead thing happened a long time ago in Japan, and it's fluctuated throughout the centuries, but that is really a long discussion for a Japanese history course, which I hope to someday be able to offer here.
So, are there different words for, say, churches or cathedrals, even though
Yeah,
they're...
kyokai. Kyokai is literally meeting place for education, but kyo is also the suffix that's added to different kinds of religious denominations to mean the teachings of that religion.
Ah.
So Bukkyo is one of the words for Buddhism. Kiristokyo is a word for Christianity.
So it
and
roughly
then-
means church, right?
Yeah, so kyokai means church roughly, or place of worship. And, yeah, Yudaya kyo is Judaism. What do you think? I think within Christianity, Katoliko kyo, or Katoliku kyo, I think is what they would call Catholic. And there's a special term for the secret Christians. that are more of a native Christianity to Japan, and I can't remember the word for it right now, but that's another interesting period of Japanese history, the whole place where, Christianity was basically driven out of Japan, and the few people who were left who were determined to remain Christian and wanted to still live went underground with it and had to hide that they were Christian. And when Christianity was finally allowed back in the country, those people were able to come out of hiding, but their form of Catholicism is very different from Catholicism from outside of Japan, because they were secret for so long.
Isn't it like hybridized with some of the Japanese cultural things?
Yes, very much so. It's a fascinating little piece of Japanese history, but again, we don't have time to get into that
Right,
tonight.
right.
Okay, so let's look at part 6. So, この部屋に女の人が何人いますか? So this is getting into, I'm just making sure how much time we have left. This is getting into structures relating to counting people.
So in your room, how many women are there?
Yes. So like if we were going to count how many are in this room are women versus how many are men,
Oh,
you know.
oh. So wait, heya just means room. It doesn't necessarily mean your room?
Heya just means a room. Yeah. So
Okay.
kono heya would be this classroom.
That's what I'm saying. What are you doing in your
Kono
room?
Yeah. No, it doesn't imply that at all.
Okay.
Okay. So この部屋に女の人が何人いますか? So look at that structure, and where the non is where you would take out non and put in a number to say, for example, 4人います. Do you see that? So
And which ones are regular again? Just 1 and 2, right?
1人、2人. Those are the most irregular ones. And then 3人 keeps the n and the ni. 4人 drops the n.
Ah.
And then after 4, the rest of them are normal. Okay? Okay. いいですか?
はい。
じゃあ let's see. Okay, so サンナさんとビジさん example を読んでください.
この部屋に女の人が何人いますか?
2人います。
Okay, and then that's their example sentence, but how many would you actually say?
3人います。
I don't count?
Oh!
4
Oh!
人います。
はい、4人います。
すみません。
ごめんなさい!
If you were to ask
How many female students, right?
女の学生, then it would be 3人います, right? Two different questions.
はい。
じゃあ、ジョーさん、1番、読んでください。
Do you want me to read it to him or do you want?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we can do it that way. Yeah, that's the usual.
この部屋に男の人が何人いますか?
4人。
4人
4人。
います
います。
はい、4人います。はい。じゃあ、2番どうぞ。
この部屋、アメリカ人が
この部屋に
この部屋にアメリカ人
アメリカ人
が
いや
何人
何人
何人いますか?
So, 8人?
はい8人います
8人います.
はい
So there's no funny like 8000 type
No,
stuff going
it's,
on here.
yeah, it stays normal 8人
So,
はい
even though this is an existence verb at the end, it's not この部屋は, like as for this room. You know,
It's like in this room,
こ
isn't
の
it?
部屋に yeah,
It's like
yeah,
in this
に
room.
います
so ni, when you're talking about a location in aru iru, they take ni out ga. And the next one
Okay.
confuses me with there's like two
Okay.
different gas.
yeah, ni and ga, okay. Let's clarify this
Yeah, the next one
with
is
me and God, okay? Now, this is important, okay, so, place, me, thing, ga, iru, or aru, okay? So, inu ga imasu, it takes ga, because inu is a dog, right? But uchi ni imasu, it's in the house. So, uchi ni inu ga
So
imasu.
it almost becomes well, it does become in.
Yeah,
Ni basically means inside of,
yeah.
but you don't have to say kono heya no naka ni.
No, you don't need all of that. It's not necessary. I mean, you could,
Okay.
but it's redundant
Yeah.
because it's already implied with just the ni. So, 教室に、学生が7人います。
In this
Right.
classroom, there are 7 people. So wait,
Hi.
nanin?
7人。
Okay, it sounded like you said nanin.
7人。
Nanin.
Yeah.
So not
I think you-
shichinin?
I'm trying to remember. I think you might be able to say shichinin also. There was a place where it listed them, and I'm trying to remember where.
Was there, or was, I think you gave them all to us.
There it is. Shichinin and nananin are both in there in the chapter where it describes the grammar. It shows you both shichinin and nananin are possible. I thought I remembered that.
Okay. Wait, which
So-
page is it on?
174ページです。174。
And can you also explain the next sentence?
Hi. Okay, let's read the question. Whose turn was it to read? ザックさんでしょ
Wait,
Sun.
which one are we on?
3番読んでください。
Okay, この部屋に、紙が、長い人が、何人
何人はい。
何人いますか？
はい。
I know what it means, but I don't know why there's
Hold on, I'm just
why
trying
Why there's so many
the
gods?
gods work.
I'm
Okay.
just trying to make sure I got all of this.
You
So,
got it.
long papers?
No. 髪が長い。
Kaminana.
Long hair.
Long
long
hair.
hair. Oh,
Yes.
oh, right.
Yeah, that kami. Yeah.
So how come
Kami ga
Kami
na-
ga
Well,
nagai?
kami ga nagai is the standard for describing someone's hair is long, right? Meri-san wa kami ga nagai desu.
Wait,
That's just the standard for saying
like
that
seiga.
a person has long hair.
Like say ga?
so is it?
背が高い、髪が長い、目が大きい、
Okay.
you know, all of those are always going to have ga in them. So that's like not changeable, okay?
Okay,
So that's why kami ga nagai hito, because kami ga nagai, it's ending as an adjective, right? Which means it can
Long-haired
directly, yeah, long-haired people, exactly. It can directly modify a noun because it's already structured as an adjective phrase.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something
Okay.
there.
So kami ga nagai hito,
And then ga for.
and then ga because it's the question, how many people are there,
Okay.
right? So this is a case where both of those structures require ga, so you are stuck with having two gas in the same
Ga,
sentence.
ga,
It just is.
So
Okay?
if it's not something that's a predetermined structure, like say ga takai and kami ga nagai.
Yeah. If it's not a predetermined structure,
Say this wasn't. How come it's not? Or would you use it like nagai kami no hito ga? You know, like how would you phrase it if it's not this predetermined structure that takes two gas? I guess is what.
I don't know how to answer that because I don't have an example of something where it's not
Yeah.
that predetermined structure.
I guess. One
So,
way-
but if you're saying, for example, 面白い人が何人いますか?
Mhm.
You know, 元気な人が何人いますか? You still need ga in that second
Yeah,
place.
I understand that, God.
Okay.
It's just that first one was.
Kami ga nagai is just that's the set
So
phrase.
think of it as one big adjective.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Kami ga nagai is one big adjective.
So just a question, I know the whole kami thing having 3 different meanings. Is it all the same? Are they all different kanjis?
Yes, completely different kanji.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the one that's for hair right there. You see it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of complicated.
It's
Kami, that
Yol.
means,
Wait, no, that's not a yol, is it? It's like the yol kind of got mashed together with the
yeah,
moon.
this one is paper. That kami is paper and that's God.
Ah,
Completely different kanji. Yes?
and
And
okay.
the one that's in here, I don't even have well memorized. I'd have to look at it to remember how to write it.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
sometimes the handwriting
Yeah,
and the
it's,
textbook font are different. So.
Okay.
Actually, let me take a picture of that.
That and then, oh yeah,
component in there, isn't it? Is that like a pronunciation guide or something? Like the
No,
going-
that is entirely different. Katakana mi is the other direction.
Oh.
That's just, that's a component that exists in some kanji.
Oh, I see.
But those are three entirely different kanji that just happen to be homophones.
3 entirely different words.
Yeah.
The paper hair god.
So, okay, so kami, 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 3 different things. It's almost as much fun as niwa, 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 niwa tori ga imasu.
Which means
In the garden, there happen to be 2 chickens.
nice.
I like when you list raw objects like namago, namago, and namago.
Oh, that's how you
Yeah.
start. I've heard of that one actually.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so この部屋に髪が長い人が何人いますか? So Kasi-san, I think it was your turn to answer that question.
はい3人います。
3人いますね。はい。
この部屋に元気な人が何人いますか？
No one's sick, is it? Right?
Well, it depends on how you want to term genki.
Yeah.
Whether it just means healthy or whether you want to mean it more like energetic.
I'm guessing that's what they meant.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they're leaning more toward the energetic. That's the normal context for it.
Oh. Oh, I see.
So you could say
8人います。
8人います. Okay, that works.
Real quite energetic.
はい。わかりますか?
はい。
じゃあ、まとめの練習をやってみましょう。Okay. じゃあ、アンバーさん、1番を聞いてください。
どこに住んでいますか？
皆さん。
私はココビーチに住んでいます。
はい、ココビーチに住んでいます。
ココビーチ。
ココビーチ。
は
長野に。
い、ココビーチに住んでいます。I would probably, for the sake of making it sound like a place name rather than confusing it with Koko, I would probably go with this katakana spelling. Koko, and then Bichi. Koko
Oh,
Bichi.
peachy.
Right. That's probably how I would render it in katakana, just for the sake of it not sounding like
High school?
Cocoa Beach. Because if you write Coco, and then beach, Cocoa Beach, it sounds like this beach,
Yeah.
Oh.
this here beach,
This here beach.
which is totally incorrect
Well,
grammar
that
in
would
Japanese too.
suit it perfectly.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. Although
But
I was
Cocoa
thinking,
Beach.
I was thinking we would get it mixed up with high school beach.
Oh, the Cocoa Beach.
Is it Koko? Like,
Well,
is it
Koko.
short at the end of the high school one?
Cocoa Beach. I suppose if you're worried about that, you could leave off the second extended vowel sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cocoa, this one,
Yeah, that has
is
two long poles in it,
Cocoa
so.
also. So Cocoa Beachy, if you wanted to make sure it didn't sound like Cocoa or Cocoa, you could do Cocoa Beachy. Cocoa Beach, something like that. That's a hard one to render without making it sound confusing.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
say Florida.
じゃあ2番、鳥間さん、サンドルさんに聞いてください。
結婚していますか？
結婚していません。
はい、いいですね。はい、質問ですか？
今結婚していますか? I was like, are you getting married right now? Are you at a wedding?
I thought there was something else that went with it.
結婚式 is a wedding ceremony.
I'm saying if you used ima with that, say imasu for.
Yeah.
That one's one of the ones that doesn't normally have that ambiguity about it. 結婚しています usually just means already married.
So does it
So-
mean, are you getting married?
Yeah,
at this moment.
Right, no, it doesn't normally mean that. So if you're in the middle of your wedding ceremony, I would say it's more likely 結婚式をしています. 結婚式 is the wedding ceremony. 式 means ceremony. So 結婚式 is a wedding ceremony. 卒業式 is a graduation ceremony.
Isn't it also a person's name?
式 not that I'm
So
aware of.
basically, it's just a matter of remembering the little ambiguity cases.
Yes, yeah, so the ambiguities don't apply to every tailored form. There are just certain ones that have two possible meanings. Okay, so 結婚していますか? いえ、結婚していません. Or はい、結婚しています. It's usually going to be just one or the other answer. じゃあ、3番どうぞ.
Is there a way to say or for these two? Like say bike or car?
Yeah, you can use か in between them.
So
自転車か車
はい。自転車か車を持っていますか?
yeah, that
How do I say both?
両方持っています.
What was it?
両方 is both.
It's what?
Both.
両方.
Ryoho?
Yo, I know. Oh, it's
Ryo.
Ryo.
Ryoho.
両方.
Oh,
Ryoho.
I know. I always struggle to say those
Oh.
ri, small ya, yu, yo combinations also.
Ryo. Yeah.
両方持っています. 両方. 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 Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that 両. And the kanji for it is interesting.
That means both.
Yeah, I believe that's the kanji for it, ryoho.
So it's a kanji compound?
So is it a ryo motteimasu or a
Ryoho motteimasu. Ryoho motteimasu. Hai.
Ka between nouns means and.
Or. Yeah, to would be and,
Okay.
but
so
or is ka. So, 自転車か車を持っていますか? Do you own a bicycle or a car? And he's saying 両方持っています. I have both.
Did we even cover the
So
whole
if-
ka means or thing?
No,
So-
he just asked me just now, is there a way to say or? Because the question just gave you the
A
slash, meaning that they wanted you to ask about one or the other. You could say,
Ah.
自転車を持っていますか? Or you could have said, 車を持っていますか? But he wanted to ask both.
I was wondering about the slash. It's like, what are we supposed to do with here?
The slash in this book normally just means choose one or the other and ask about it.
Ah,
Okay, let's keep going so we can finish this. はい、どうぞ。Okay, so 自転車も車も持っています. That's the other way you could do it, is you could say noun one も noun two も持っています.
Okay.
So 車も自転車も持っています.
And if you use to for and, ryoho is redundant, and I can
Right.
say motteimasu, I have both.
Yeah.
Okay.
はい。
日本の歌をしていますか?
日本の歌をしています。
but what's shiteimasu again?
To know.
Oh,
知っていますか?
Because I was
Yes.
confusing it with to do. It's like, do you do Japanese
No,
songs?
and you could also, 知っていません works here, but you could also say 知りません.
So, oh wait, so do you know any Japanese songs?
Right. His answer was no. So, どうぞ、次。
サークル
サークル。
サークルに入っていますか？
So that's soccer?
No, サークル is, it's from circle in English, but it means like a club or activity, like a group like Japanese club. That's what would be called サークル.
So, are you in a club, basically?
はい。
入っています.
入っていますね。はい、じゃあ6番どうぞ。
So wait, what would be soccer in Japanese? Do
サ
they?
ッカ
Oh, right. Okay. So, 日本語の先生は、今日何？
ー。今日、
今日何？
今日、pause. 何
Oh, right. 今日何? Today.
Kyo is
Kyo,
today.
yeah.
And
Kyo nani o kite imasu ka?
Hai.
I'm not entirely sure what that's asking.
Ah.
いや
日本語の
来て
先生は今日何を着ていますか
What are you
What's that? Yeah, what is the Japanese language teacher wearing today?
Hey,
Yeah.
kite is where?
Kiru, yes, that version of kiru is to wear. Look at the kanji. Nani o kite imasu ka? Okay.
I keep forgetting
Again,
the kanji parts.
there's more than one kanji for kiru also. For kite imasu, right?
Yeah,
Because kite iru could mean
to come.
from kuru
That's what I was thinking.
for
It's
come,
like, where is your teacher
or,
coming?
That's, it's that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Kiru. So it could be kuru or it could be kiru.
And your giveaway is kudu and all of its conjugations are in hiragana.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Although this kanji works for all of the conjugations of kudu, believe it or
I
not.
just never
Nice.
Yeah.
But haite imasu would be to enter?
Haitemasu is enter, but kitemasu is wear.
It's just
And-
that
oh,
the
that-
haite is
no,
after the slash.
That other haitemasu is haku, to wear on the bottom, you know, things that you
Oh.
pull up from your feet. So, kutsu o haku, kutsushita, socks o haku, zubon o haku, pants, skato o haku, anything that you pull up from your feet are things that you use the verb haku, haitemasu.
So then what would,
Kiru is anything that goes on over your head, down around your shoulders, or over your shoulders this way.
okay,
So
so,
T-shirts o kiru, jacket o kiru, dress is called one piece in Japanese, one piece o kiru, skirt o haku, hakama, if you know kimono nomenclature, hakama o haku, kutsu o haku, kutsushita o haku, sandalu o haku, you know, anything that's footgear or on your legs primarily is haku.
so, I know it sounds like a little bit of a silly question, but where would a wetsuit or something fall into this? Because it's like
If
one
it's-
solid piece of
Yeah.
fabric.
If it includes your shoulders, it's most likely to be kiru.
Okay. And is there a kanji for the haku?
There
Good.
is, but they don't seem to be using it at the moment.
Yeah, because they use the one for
Yeah.
that one.
If
Maybe
you
it's a-
look in your Tango Listo, let's see if it actually lists a kanji for haku. No, they're not showing it.
Oh.
That's interesting.
So is there
There's-
no kanji
I
or?
believe there is one, I just don't know it offhand. So that
So,
would be something to look up on your own time.
so maybe they use the one in here just to keep it getting mixed up with kuru for kite?
Well, no, kuru and kiru are commonly used kanji. Maybe the
Ah.
kanji for haku just isn't that commonly used anymore, I'm not sure.
Or was it?
And I don't know for sure if it's actually related to the term hakama or if it's just coincidence, that they sound similar. But hakama is a way, to me at least, because I already knew that term, it's a way to
Mnemonic.
use a mnemonic for haku. Because hakama is that split skirt that samurai wore over their kimono. So when you see a samurai striding around with a long stride, the reason he can get away with that and not be flashing people is because he's got hakama. Right? Because what's underneath the hakama is actually a regular kimono. He's got a kimono on first.
Also, the one for enter is commonly used, right?
Hairu, yes, that kanji that looks like the hito in
Reverse
reverse is very common, hairu. And it's also used in common compounds like iriguchi, which is an entrance. It's the exact opposite of deguchi, exit. You guys know deguchi already, we had that kanji. Iriguchi is entrance. So, you know how a lot of times buildings will have one door just for entering and another door just for exiting?
Right, right.
Iriguchi, deguchi, those are the labels on those doors. So, if you go in by the deguchi or try to leave by the iriguchi, you will run into people. Okay, let's finish this. We've got time if we just keep moving.
Right.
So, サークルに入っていますか？はい。OK、日本語の先生は今日何を着ていますか？
ジャケットを着ています。
はい。ジャケットを着ています。はい。じゃあ7番どうぞ。
兄弟がいますか？はい、そうです。
はい。
何人いますか？
一人います。はい。いいですね。So you just have one sibling, right? はい。いいですね。じゃあ8番どうぞ。
お父さんはどこに勤めていますか？
はい。勤めていますか？
ナスに勤めています。
はい。NASA に勤めています。いいですね。
What was that again?
NASA に
Oh.
勤めています。
He works for NASA.
はい。そうですね。じゃあ9番どうぞ。
おじさんはどこに住んでいますか？
はい。おじいさんは、
おじいさんは
はい。どこに住
どこ
んでいますか？
に住んでいますか？
私のうちに住んでいます。
はい。いいですね。じゃあどうぞ。
子供の時、自転車を持って
持って
いましたか？
はい、持っています。
はい。持っていました。
持っていま
はい。
But how would you say that I still have it? Like,
はい。持っていました。それにまだ持っています。or just まだ持っています。
まだ
まだ still.
Ah.
So you could even say 今までも持っています which is like up until now I still have it, the same one. 今までも持っています。
Okay.
So
今までも
はい、今までも持っています。
Okay, what's the? I'm trying to remember how to draw the kanji for
今今までも also 持っています。
I had my strokes all wrong. So
今までも持っています。Yeah, I still have that same one. はい、じゃあ11番どうぞ。
高校の時、
はい、高校の時
日本語を知っていますか？
していましたか？
知っていましたか？
日本語をしていました。
していませんでした。
知りませんでした。
Or you could switch to 知りませんでした。That's a more natural sounding conjugation for the negative. 知りませんでした。
I
はい、高校の時知りませんでした。Didn't know it in high school.
So wait, the 今までも up until now.
Yeah, 今までも right up until present day. Okay, we've got 5 minutes, so I want you to look at the B class activity, show a picture of your family to the class and describe it. I am seriously thinking this would be a good thing to have for our OPI for this chapter, because you could incorporate everything, all these different grammar structures into describing people in your family, how many people, it's numbers, right? How many brothers and sisters? More numbers.
What if you don't have any siblings
Adjectives,
though?
that's okay. You could just
Yeah.
describe how many people are in your family. That's still numbers. You, your, and
Yeah, I
your
mean
parents,
the-
that's still sannin, right?
Yeah, I do have some extended family, but they're either all like far away. But
That's okay, then
Make
you
it
can
up.
still talk about them, or you
Yeah.
can make something up.
it's just that I'm
Exactly.
not sure if I can have a photo with all of them in them.
That's okay. You can bring multiple photos, or you could bring the photo you've got and draw some stick figures to represent the other people that you want to
Now
talk
drawing I
about.
can do.
Or, yeah, you could also bring in your phone and have multiple photos on your phone or something if you don't want to bring in printed out photos. There you go.
Okay.
But I think that would be a really great way to do the OPI. You can prepare ahead of time all the different people you want to talk about You can practice ahead of time. And this is something that Japanese people like for you to be able to tell them.